Yo, what's up? What's up with my people, man? What's going on with y'all? What's going on? Yeah, y'all tuned in, man. Fans Point of View Pod. You know what I'm saying? We about to get up into it. I'm not really going to hold y'all too long with the info today, man. I'm just trying to dive right up into it. After all the information said and done, we'll go over the game picks for the week. We'll go ahead. I got 5 college game picks and I got 5 NFL picks. Week 1, not no preseason picks. Got some games for tomorrow on the slot, some games that's not. And then we got some games for week 1 NFL game picks at the end. We'll do that at the end. But I'm going to jump right into it because there's a lot of things that's going on in the news. So much that's going on right now. Rather it's the Shedeur Sanders, Eric Dickerson, Tank Davis, my Steelers with the 53-man roster. The way that we played yesterday just was, I didn't like the way we played yesterday. I didn't. It was just sloppy. You know what I mean? That wasn't Pittsburgh Steelers football. No way, no how. The way we played was sloppy. I'll dive into that. But first I want to get up into, break out lane real quick and get some news popping. What up, motivated, dedicated? What up, bro? What's up with you? How you feeling? So I'm gonna just dive up into this this news, man, and get this popping. So no, I can't do that. I can't do that. Gotta pull it up. I'm like, what am I doing? I gotta pull it up, bro. All right, so that works. So I'll go ahead and get that pulled up. Share the tab real quick. Get this some of this news pulled up. I'll go through this news as quick as possible. Then I'll get into the Shedeur topics. Let me get this news out the way. Then I'll get into the Shedeur topics, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah, because it's crazy. Because I got some things that I want to say, but I got receipts of first, some things, but we'll get into that in a minute. So y'all stick around because make sure y'all sharing the link and everything. Make sure everybody coming up in here. Because I just didn't share the link out at all. None of my other socials. So it is what it is. However many people we get in here is how many people we get in here. All right. So first off, I just wanted, I'm going to break this down with y'all. I know y'all can see the first game picks on the screen. I'll save that for last. So I'll try to get that pulled down if I can. All right. Yeah. So just in the news with the SEC, they are going to adopt the 9-game conference schedule in the SEC. Now, this is huge, but I'm going to read it first. I'll try to read it. I'll read it fast as I possibly can, and then I'll get my commentary after. The SEC will move a 9-game conference schedule into 2026. It is said Thursday, ending years of a debate about whether it should add another conference game. The decision came after the conference's athletic directors met this week in Birmingham, Alabama. Each school will play 3 annual opponents focused on maintaining many traditional rivalries, the conference said, and 6 rotating games among the conference schools. All right, y'all get that? All right, I'm pretty sure y'all do. Y'all not slow. Adding a 9th SEC game underscores our university's commitment to delivering the most competitive football schedule in the nation. SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey said in a statement, this format protects rivalries, increases competitive balance, and paired with our requirement to play an additional power opponent, ensures SEC teams are well prepared to compete and succeed in the college football playoff. For now, the SEC will maintain its mandate that each school also play one other power conference opponent in a non-conference game. The conference said Thursday in a statement it will continue to evaluate its policies to ensure the continued scheduling of the high-quality non-conference opponents. Now, that's just pretty much it with that. Now, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get this out the way real quick because I don't want to spend too much time on this. You know what I'm saying? I really don't want to spend too much time on this topic right here because I really want to get into other things, but this is a great topic to talk about. I mean, we already talked about this pretty much on Rawhide's panel. Shout out to Raw. But I'll tell you what, if the SEC has to play 9 games, and a lot of people have been crying about the SEC playing cupcakes and whatever else, that one cupcake doesn't even matter. And trust me, I argue with Raw about this whole situation. I argue like, yo, like they're playing a cupcake game, but it's always, it doesn't even matter because the competition level in the SEC is almost night and day. You know what I'm saying? It's almost night and day with the other conferences. Like the closest conference that can compete with the SEC and talent wise is the Big Ten. And I know we like to say the parity in college football is coming, and it is. But I think that's the smaller schools competing with each other, the G5s, right? The G5s are balancing out a lot more, and they may even sneak a win in on a power team that may be going into that game sleeping on their opponents, right? Or just thinking they're just going to get an easy win. But they're always going to be on top. These schools are always going to get the best players, put the most guys in the NFL. And if they have to play, and I'm just saying all this just to say, if the SEC has to play 9 conference games, is it fair? And this may be a question. Is it fair to say there should be more SEC and Big Ten teams in the college football playoff? See, we cry about the SEC already having more seeds. Well, if they got to play one more conference game against each other, then I mean, now you have to figure and say, well, now they probably they deserve an extra seed if that team is even eligible for the college football playoff or for the conference championship of the SEC. The SEC is tough. It's really tough. Like, and I hate to say that, but I mean, look, because I was on the other side arguing the point until where I had to really go and look at the talent that they're getting, the way that these teams are prepared, the coaching, everything. I mean, from everything that the SEC provides, it's just more than just getting 5-star players. They're getting 5-star players and turning them into All-Americans in their freshman seasons, and they're preparing them to do that for years upon years. And don't just take it from me, because if your favorite college team winds up getting an SEC player, you're hyped about it. Whether he was on a bench, whether he was whether he didn't even have to play. If he's on your team, you're hyped about it because he came from the SEC. Let's just be honest about it. It is what it is. So, I mean, how could we sit here and be mad if they get another seed in the college football playoff? They are highly competitive, and that I'm just saying, they're going to a 9-game schedule. They heard a lot of people crying about it, but now I think the crying is just never going to stop it. So I just said what I had to say on that topic, and that's just where I'm gonna leave it, because it is what it is on that. But that's just how that's going to roll, and that's how that's going to work out. Now, in other news, I'm gonna get up into it right now. So Jake Paul is taking on, obviously, Tank Davis and Jake Paul are they're fighting. They're fighting. Like, look, Tank Davis, obviously. So let me get it. Let me make sure I got everything right, because there's a lot that I gotta go through, man. It's just crazy, bro. Like, it's a lot that's going on, right, with Tank Davis and obviously Jake Paul. You see their records there scrolling across the bottom of the screen or whatever. Tank Davis is 30-0-1 in his fights. His last fight was with Lamont Roach. Lamont Roach was in the 130-pound division and fighting, moved up to the 135-pound division to fight Tank Davis in that fight. It came out in a draw. Tank Davis still walks away with his undefeated record. Lamont Roach was asking for a rematch. That rematch never came. And like I've been telling a lot of people, there's been a lot of going on in the past 24 hours, and especially in the boxing world, about this particular fight. And that's because Shedeur Stevenson, in his last fight, people said he was ducky, fought a really good fight. Can't remember the opponent's name. Fault me for that. But now Tank was supposed to rematch Lamont Roach. That's not going to happen now. That's not going to happen. He's not going to fight Lamont Roach at all. Now, why? Is because he's fighting Jake Paul. That's going to be a big payday. I told a lot of people before that I just didn't think that his heart was into it. He wanted to take care of his family and his daughter, whatever he got to do. He wants the money. He wants the money, and could this be looked at? I seen Shedeur Stevenson talk about it being disrespectful. I probably should have had pulled that receipt up, but I wasn't planning on spending too much time on this topic either. I was just, letting y'all know he will be fighting November 14th with Jake Paul. And look, Jake Paul is 227 pounds, 225 pounds. He's going to get down to probably 200 for this fight. That's been rumored for a catch weight. Gervonta's 135 pounds. It's going to be a big payday. The draw that Jake Paul brings, what he's done for the sport of boxing, Gervonta Davis being a very skilled, one of the best pound for pound, 135 pound division fighters. And now there's a lot of, boxing fans, true boxing fans are upset, and they're looking at this like it's disrespectful that he doesn't want to fight. But then you got a casual boxing fan like myself that looks at this, and I'm like, for that payday, he's just not into boxing. You can tell with the last fight with Lamont Roach, it's just something going on. Like, he just don't have the love for the sport no more. It's like he's been in it for so long. He's like, I don't love the box anymore, so I might as well just get this bread. And there's going to be a big payday, and this fight's going to be on Netflix. So, I mean, we'll all be able to watch it at least for free or whatever. I don't know how much we'll have to pay for it. I'm assuming it's free. And it's going to reach many households. Now, how do I feel about this fight with them two? I feel like Gervonta Davis should do whatever Gervonta Davis feel like he need to do. If he feel like he want to make that bread in this fight, that's what he should do. That's what I feel like. I feel like Gervonta Davis need to go and make as much money as he can before he walks away from boxing for good. And I think this is part of his ultimate plan to do so. And I think I'm cool with that. But I also do see the fact of a legacy and how would you want to leave your legacy. I think he's fought enough fights. He's 30-1, regardless of who he may fought or he didn't fight. Guys like Shedeur Stevenson, Devin Haney. He did fight Ryan Garcia. He fought some names. Like, he just didn't, walk around and fight people out of Gold's Gym. Although I said that a couple times, but I know a little bit more about boxing now. So, I mean, it is what it is. He's going to get the payday. He's going to be fighting Jake Paul November 14th. I don't see the big deal in what everybody's really tripping about. You don't have nothing to do with his money. That's his bread. That's his life. If that's the way he want to live it, I mean, y'all telling people going to say how they. Now, me personally, I do think he should fight Shedeur Stevenson. I do think that. I think just Shedeur Stevenson would be a big draw. I don't know about Jake Paul. I don't know if that'd bring as much money as a Jake Paul would, but I think that'd mean a lot more for boxing and his respect, his legacy, and so forth and so on. But hey, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Moving on. So now I'll get up into my Pittsburgh Steelers. Try to get up on that real quick before I don't want to spend too much time on it. But like I said, get up into my Pittsburgh Steelers the first 15 minutes over here. So look, man, he didn't get hurt. He didn't get hurt. He did get hurt in the game. Derek Harmon wound up getting carted off, our first round pick. He got carted off the field in the game, but the injury he sustained, I guess it wasn't that serious. So I think it was a knee sprain or something. I don't know what level of knee sprain it was for the Pittsburgh Steelers fans out there. So it's not something that we should be overly concerned about. He seemed to be laughing and sitting on the sideline. He didn't have to go to the hospital, get surgery, anything. Just probably got to take it easy for a couple of days, and then he'll be back on his feet. Now, about this win over the Carolina Panthers, this preseason win, Skylar Thompson looks great. Skylar Thompson, now, I'm caught up in between keeping Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson. I really am. Like right now, I'm confused on which one who should we be taking in this fight. Like I'm just being honest. Like who we should be taking up into this, because look, I tell you what, Skylar Thompson just been going off. The offense looked good with him. Mason Rudolph threw a pick. He just seems a little uncomfortable. He just don't seem as comfortable as Skylar Thompson does in the offense. Now I get it. Skylar Thompson is playing against, I guess you could say, lower caliber players, or he's playing with the threes, the backup. You know what I mean? You could make that argument, but he just looks comfortable in the pocket, even when it's collapsing. He's getting the ball out of his hands quick in this offense. He's looking really good running this Arthur Smith offense. And I think when you're looking at it from that point of view, you have to say that question has to come up. Should we be keeping Mason Rudolph, or should Skylar Thompson be there? Now, if we're going to keep Rudolph, I think there will be some value for Skylar Thompson out there, the way that he's looked in this Arthur Smith system. But I must say, us having a 40-something-year-old Aaron Rodgers, right, and Skylar Thompson looking the way he's looked in preseason, running our offense proficiently, scoring, I would be really thinking about keeping him. Now, I could be wrong, but I mean, hey, Steelers fans, like, we got to be real. Like, we got to be real, y'all. Like, I mean, the way that he's looking running this offense, you can't deny that. Now, I also like Trey Sermon and what Trey Sermon's been looking like running the ball. He's been pretty consistent. I like the way that Trey Sermon runs. I don't know what the back. I know Caleb Johnson's going to stay. Jalen Warren's up in there. But that backfield, I mean, Trey Sermon's looking good. I don't know. And we also got Nichols. I think Nichols looks pretty good too, but I like the way Sermon looks. Scotty Miller for sure. He's stepping up. I know Scotty Miller has stepped up. I know I hope he makes the 53-man roster, because he looks clutch. Looks like when you can count on Scotty Miller to catch a pass, he's doing just that. Now, speaking of receivers, there was some rumors about us having to look at a receiver from the Patriots. Was a second-round pick. I think it was. I can't remember exactly. I should have had his name. But we was looking at let me see. I got it right here. I got it pulled up. I'll pull it up right here. So the second-round pick receiver from the Patriots, we looking at right there. That's him right there. We've been looking at him. There's been rumors. I don't know if we really have to go there, but I think because we let Rock Taylor go from Memphis, there was some reports and rumors about him getting into a fight at the Panthers combined practice or whatever like that, and him and Mike Tomlin, and you know how Mike Tomlin is. He's very cool, but he's very strict, runs hard, coaches hard on those guys, and it's just simple rules. He likes us to be disciplined, the team to be disciplined, and Rock Taylor just wasn't. There was something that was said, got in the doghouse with Mike Tomlin. We'll just say that. And we did let him go. So to be looking at, I think this is Jalen Polk, I believe. I believe this is. Let me make sure. I just don't want to say that. Yeah, this is Jalen Polk that I heard that. And this is before the game, I believe. So when this report came out. So that could be a done deal. That was just a quick rumor. Now, I do think we need to add to that room. Now, just real quick, just speaking on the game, trying to get through this game as possibly quick as I can to get to the other topics, right? And I will open up the, you know what I'm saying, the live or whatever, bring everybody in. And if you want to, we could chop it up about the Shedeur thing and everything else. I'll open it up once I get there. All right, now, the third, I got to say, the first quarter was sloppy. It was penalties. It was missed tackles. We had a lot of missed tackles, a lot of drive killing penalties, and we had some from veterans like Marvin Leal. There's no excuse for him to catch a penalty. I think his came in the third quarter. It was a face mask, I believe. I didn't like that. We had holding penalties, too many holding penalties. So I didn't like that. I definitely didn't like the holding penalties in the game, because that it was pushing us back. We're playing behind the sticks. Our offense is already struggling to score. We can't be playing undisciplined football like that. I know we're missing a guy here and there, but to play undisciplined football like that, that is not going to win games at all for us Pittsburgh fans. It's not going to do it. Jalen Ramsey had a penalty, and I think that was crucial. He stopped him in the backfield for a loss already. There was no need to throw him to the ground after the whistle. The play was dead. He's a leader. He got to keep his head. We cannot have veterans like Jalen Ramsey making a stop like that, an important stop on third down, and still throwing guys to the ground after the whistle, giving them another chance of fresh downs and getting back out there. We got to get those big guys off the field as soon as possible. I think we got some of the guys out there. The defensive line does look promising, but we cannot kill ourselves with these drive-ending penalties, drive-killing penalties. I mean, like the missed tackles, like I said, the holding penalties, the false starts. Like, this is stuff that cannot happen and shouldn't happen. I'm glad it's happening in the preseason, but that was a sloppy win, and I just didn't like it. I think it was like on a 3rd and goal in the second quarter, was like 17 seconds left. Number 85, it had a back corner touchdown off blown coverage. That can't happen. That cannot happen with guys who's been around like James Pierre, Killebrew. Like, that's the stuff that scares us when we look at that. And that's what's saying, like, dang, Micah is gone. We cannot have those mistakes happen like that. Although I did like the way that Wyatt Black from Iowa, the young defensive tackle we picked up. Did we get him? Will we get Wyatt Black? Will we get him in the 5th round or 4th? I know he was. I can't remember it right now. Anyway, I go blank sometimes like that. I don't know why. But in the 3rd quarter, Wyatt Black, he showed up rubbing his belly. He got 2 back. He had a sack. Then he had a back-to-back. I think he's like, it was almost a strip sack, caused the quarterback to cough up the ball. We recovered it. He looks promising. I think that we know for sure TJ will be out there. Now how important Cam Hayward's going to look, because the run game was just gashing us. It didn't matter who they had in there, whether it was our backups, our defensive line was getting pushed back. That goes to show how important it is for Wyatt Black to be able to get out there. And also Cam Hayward, can you Benton? It's going to be important to keep our guys, because look, and they keep them fresh, because we just couldn't stop the run. The run was gashing us at times. At times we looked good at stopping the run. We were getting back there. Guys were run fitting pretty good, getting through the gaps, but we were missing tackles. And I did not like that. I didn't like the fact that we got out of there with a win that was not by far a best game. That was a very sloppy Pittsburgh Steelers team last night. I must say that. And we still walked away with a dub and a very sloppy game. I guess you could say you could take some positives out of that and say, if we can win looking that sloppy and that bad, then I wonder what we look like when we're on our A game. We got to bring our A game. It is what it is. But some of those guys probably won't be there after this 53-man roster is set. But that's all I had to say about the game. I didn't agree with a lot of what went on with the game. A lot of y'all might be happy with it, but I just wasn't. Just some things I took away from it. Peyton Wilson from North Carolina State, the young linebacker, he looks promising. I think he looks very promising for us. He stepped up in some ways. I know it's preseason, but the effort that Ramsey gave in that preseason game, I like it, because we're going to lead our veterans to lead by example on that team. Patrick Queen was pretty quiet. He was out there though, but he needs to stay healthy. So I get it's a preseason game. You're not going to jump on piles. You're not going to play as hard as it is in the regular season game. But week 1 versus the Jets, we're going to need to bring it. We know what Justin Fields is going to bring, so we're going to need to bring it. So, but that's all I had for that real quick. You know what I'm saying? As far as the updates, the news, I think we talked about the 9-game SEC. Talked about the 53-man roster for the Pittsburgh Steelers, my Steelers. I'll run through that real quick. You know what I'm saying? I'll run through the 53. I think this is just a quick, run through that real quick. Get that pulled up. Yeah, because this is just off of the steel curtain, behind the steel curtain, I guess. This is their evaluations on players, I guess. You know what I mean? They think that and I'll just run through it real quick as possible. Quarterback wise, Aaron Rodgers, Mason Rudolph, and Will Howard. Like I said, I would probably be thinking about letting Mason Rudolph go. I like Mason Rudolph. I don't think he played that bad with us. He is like game time guy. He is familiar with the team and everything. But the way that Skylar Thompson looked, I wouldn't be mad at if he did leave, because like I have to agree with them. I think he does have trade value at this point. I think we could get a nice 5th or 6th round draft pick for him the way that he's looked in preseason. And I think that might be some value in that pick. So I'm not mad at that. You know what I mean? How our quarterback room is pretty much what it is right now, right? As far as running back goes, Jalen Warren, Caleb Johnson, Kenneth Gainwell. A lot of people like Lou Nichols. Like I said, I think I like Trey Sermon in there. One of those. We're only going to keep 3. We're not going to keep. We're only going to keep 3 quarterbacks. We're only going to keep 3 running backs. We're not going 4 running backs or 4 quarterbacks. We are not the Browns. We're not keeping 4 quarterbacks. That is a total mess. I don't know what NFL team does. If you are going to keep 4 quarterbacks, there's a guy that's going to end up on the practice squad, and if he's on a practice squad, he has a chance to still go to another team. And I think that's probably what we're going to do with Skylar Thompson. No doubt, he's played really well in this preseason. As far as wide receivers go, DK Metcalf, Roman Wilson, he looked like he's ready to step up. He needs to step up because Calvin Austin, for some reason, he's so fast. When fast guys like that, they seem to, runners like that, fast, quick guys seem to withstand a lot of lower body injuries, whether it's a pull hamstring, calf, whatever else that may be. So Curtis Samuel, I think that's okay to keep him. Scotty Miller, we definitely going to need him. And Ben Skorin, I can't even pronounce his last name. I'm not even going to roll with it. But as far as I agree with the tight ends, I still think we need to go out there, maybe look and see what's around, what guys are that made the cut on other teams. Maybe we could snatch somebody up off a practice squad and bring somebody in to try to earn a spot, right? Because it's important. That's an important position. DK is going to need help. And I think that it's going to open up things because we looked good in the 2 tight end set. I like our 2 tight end sets. When we go out there with 12 personnel out there, I like it. I like it a lot. I do. I ain't going to lie. I'm not going to lie. 20. I'm sorry. Yeah. I like that. So Pat Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, Darnell Washington, Connor Hayward. Those will be our 4 tight ends. I like that. I mean, it's going to be very dangerous. Those guys will keep fresh. Pat Freiermuth got his blocking up. I mean, he's never was really too bad in blocking, but I like the way that him and Darnell Washington look blocking through this preseason. Offensive lineman, Broderick Jones, Isaac Samalu. And now, is he going to step up? Is he going to step up or not? I don't know. But Zach Frazier, Mason McCormick, Troy Fontenot, Calvin Anderson, Spencer Anderson, and Andrews Peak is the ones that they think that we should keep. I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think, Steelers fans. All right, there's defensive lineman Cam Hayward, Kenu Bitten, Derek Harmon, Wyatt Black, Isaiah Loudermilk, Daniel Ikalu, however you pronounce it, Logan Lee. I think that's solid. I think we got some solid guys there as far as edge go. TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbeck, Jack Sawyer. I think that's real solid. Linebackers, Patrick Queen, Peyton Wilson, Cole Holcomb, Malik Harrison, and Mark Robinson. Those guys, Peyton Wilson looks like he's a beast. He's a beast. I think he's right on Patrick Queen's tail. Like, Patrick Queen is known for what he did, obviously, but Peyton Wilson is going to be a beast. I seen Cole Holcomb miss a couple tackles. Didn't like that. All right, cornerbacks. I think we stepped up in that position tremendously. I think that it's going to be Pick City back there. We'll have one of the best defensive lines with the depth, and I think our cornerbacks is going to be set and ready, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Ramsey, Joey Porter Jr., Darius Slade, Brandon Eccles, Benny Bishop, James Pierre. I think those are some solid guys. I think as long as they can stay upright and everything on the field, we should be straight there. Safety, Deshaun Elliott, Juan Thornhill, Chuck Clark, Miles Kilbrew. I really like Kilbrew. I like the way he plays. He got a natural cut instinct. And Deshaun Elliott, I think those should be the guys right there. I like those guys. I really do. I like the way those guys play. I think we're going to need them to play. Miles Kilbrew. I like Pierre's good. Pierre's definitely good in the pass game. Kilbrew is a more downhill, more physical kind of guy with me, but I also think he could play the pass pretty well too. I don't know. We're gonna go with special teams. Obviously, Chris Boswell. I think Cam Johnston and Chris Kuntz. I don't know which one of those guys I want to go with, but that's a preview of the 53 right there. As far as behind the steel curtain goes. I don't really disagree with a lot of the things. Like I said, the running back I had some questions with, and I think I might be liking Christian Kuntz to punt a little more than Cam Johnston. That's just me though, and how I feel. All right. So I'll put the link down there at the bottom. Let me put the link in there. Let me get this link pulled up. Close that out. Stop sharing that. And I'll put this link in the chat for everybody that may want to come up or whatever. Want to talk, we could chop it up. All right, let me get that link pulled up, man. This is crazy. Cause I got the reset. I made some video. I got some videos pulled up. So before I do want to put my disclaimer out there before we get up into this topic, right? Because this topic, for some reason, Shedeur, when you talk Shedeur Sanders, it gets a little. I won't even say a little. It gets a lot of how could I put this? It gets a lot misconstrued when you talk Shedeur Sanders. It just does. It is what it is. There's no, you know what I mean? It is what it is when you talk about him. But I think I got let me see. Pull it up. I stopped sharing. Did I stop sharing the link? All right. So yeah, I got a few things to talk about with him. I got Asante Samuel. I even got Chris Carter and what he said. I got the Eric Dickerson tape comments. We'll roll through all the comments and then, you know what I'm saying, it will open up for conversation when that comes up. But when you talk Shedeur Sanders, a lot of people get confused with things and man, and they get in their feelings. Let me just keep it real. People get in their feelings, and when you get to talking about them, and there's a whole bunch of things and collusions, and when you got pros that come out, let me play this. Let me play the slots first. Let me get the slots opened up first to play these audios, and then I'll go ahead and I'll add my commentary afterwards. All right, let me get that pulled up, man, because it's not that easy to work this, especially when you're trying to do this all by yourself, bro. Like you need producers to really run this stuff, but I'm trying. All right. Where the window at, bro? Why it should be up there. Why isn't that up there? Something ain't right. That's StreamYard OBS camera. Why isn't that up? That's not cool. So window. Damn. I don't know if y'all gonna be able to hear it or not. So somebody in the chat gonna have to let me know if y'all can hear it or see it, because I think I gotta have it on. I have to have it pulled up for it to work, but for some reason it's not even popping up on my StreamYard right now. Oh, okay. Okay, there it is. I got it now. That's it. All right. So I got that pulled up now. So that's cool. All right. Got it pulled up. All right. That's cool. That's good right there. Wonder how everybody been up out there, man. Just me just cooling. I ain't even put it in the Discord or nothing. So yeah, we'll roll with these questions first. I'll play the first video. I'll roll through Shedeur's comments on Dylan. Then I'll get up into all the other stuff. So this is pretty much what Shedeur Sanders had to say about the whole Dylan, the Dylan comments. So we'll play that first, and then we'll just get into everything else afterwards. All right, in the order. All right.
After that, in that preseason game last week, Dylan was interviewed, and he talked about the difference between entertainers and competitors. He called himself a competitor. Some people have construed that as a shot at you. How did you take that?
Honestly, I don't even think about nothing. I don't think about anything. If it's not words or anything, at this point, it can't do anything to me. I know, the God put the ability and the power within me to not even think about nobody else comments, not care. It is what it is. I spoke with him. He said, "Nah, bro, that wasn't." He said that wasn't. He told me on the plane. He came up. He was like, "Nah, bro, that wasn't at you. I see how they trying to spin." I'm like, "Oh, all right." I'm not tripping, regardless of whatever it was. I don't. Nobody's words or anything affects me. So yeah.
So did you believe him when he told you it wasn't on you?
Did I believe him?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you're trying to start stuff now.
No.
I feel like you're trying to start stuff. I mean,
So that's just pretty much that. Just deaded the whole Dylan comments. It wasn't nothing. Like I said, I didn't think it was like that when I had made a video about it. People got a couple comments on it. Some people said didn't make any sense on it or whatever else. But like I said, he didn't mean it like that. It ain't like that. They got a good quarterback competition going on. He confirmed it. It's no big deal to him. He don't care about it. Why do anybody else care about it? Leave it at that. Next, this is just him just saying, like, I don't know if he's throwing hints. Is this a hint or what? Like, just listen.
and then my guys in the locker room, that we all may never play on the same team again, and that's just the truth behind it. So I did everything in my power, to get out there and be ready for this week, one last time with this group.
How was that opening?
It's feeling good. Yeah, everything's good in life.
All right, so
Oh,
I don't know if he throwing hints out there like, hey, yo, I might not, like, he's preparing, like, obviously he's preparing himself for whatever may happen, right? Now, this is the Browns. They do sloppy things. Let's call it what it is. Even a lot of those fans will say that. They may keep 4 quarterbacks, but he's like a little bit prepared. And if you caught the end, he's kind of caught himself. Like, I'm prepared to be moving on up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. This could be our last time. He just kind of letting everybody know, like, it could be the last time I could be here. It might not be here. So I don't understand why a lot of the fans get misconstrued, and he's telling you these things. And this is why I put these clips together, because he's telling you these things, but people's not listening. Now, this is Shedeur and his reps.
Oh, honestly, bro, I really don't look into that. I don't care. Whenever it's time for me to get out there and play, I'm going to play. Whenever it's time for the lights to come on, I'm going to do my thing. I'm not concerned about when it is. I'm not concerned about, how many reps I'm getting at this point is what it is. Because I know when the lights come on, when everything go on, when the pressure's on, you know who I am. And I'm always be that way.
Period, point blank. Period. I have no problem with what he just said. I ain't got no problem with what Shedeur just said. I think he kept it real. I don't care about how many reps I'm getting. You know what I mean? Because I know when I do get my reps and I do go out there and I play, I'ma shine. I'ma do my thing. When my number get called, however long it takes, I'm gonna play my part, and I'm gonna take my time, do what I need to do, and go out there and shine when my number get called. But for some reason, you got people out here just talking crazy. But I'm not done. I'm not done with the videos. Hold up, I'm not done. We got more. This is Shedeur telling you. He was asked, what's the things he learned? What's the things that he can get better with throughout this preseason? That's the question he was asked, just in case you didn't hear the question.
I would say I learned life in a different perspective, and that's why I come here. I'm happy. I always got good energy because, I'm blessed to come out here every day. Regardless of the situation, regardless of anything, I know my time, whenever that is, I'll be ready for it, and I'm going to embrace that. But in due time, I got many things I need to fix, many things I need to work on, and I'm not oblivious to that. So all I look at it as I'm getting more time to cook. I'm getting more time to warm up. That's all.
Now he's literally telling people, we not listening. He's telling you out of his own mouth. I am not oblivious to the things that I need to learn in the NFL. He's not oblivious to it. So why is everybody else out there oblivious to the fact that he's sitting there telling you that he has to learn these things? Let me calm down, because I think people take me wrong when I start raising my voice a little bit. Shedeur Sanders is telling us that he's not oblivious to the things that he needs to learn, but he's just looking at this situation like, look, it's cool. I'm learning the recipes. I'm learning the recipe. I'm writing down these recipes. I'm gonna keep, you know what I'm saying, cooking these recipes over and over and over. Because when it's my time to lead the kitchen and it's my time to be the head chef of the kitchen, I'm cooking. And then they're gonna be my line cooks. That's all he's saying. And he's telling everybody this, but for some reason, everybody wants to rush and put Shedeur Sanders to the front. But he's telling you he has to learn, and he's not oblivious to this. By the way, shout out to Alpha Roo, and other things, right? Shout out to Alpha Roo, because he has said something about the plays that Shedeur was running, the plays that Dillon Gabriel ran, and I went back and I looked at the film. Now, I'm not a professional looking at it, but it seems like he had repetitive. He did all what he did in the Panthers game against the basic defense with probably only, I think it was like 9 plays. I seen 9 plays. Now, if y'all seen 10, you tell me where you seen 10 at. But I saw 9 plays, and those 9 plays, you could say a lot of that was the same formations, but it was only 9 plays that he was just cooking with the whole time, because he has a lot to learn. Now, chopping all that up and all that, no, I don't get enough views and enough likes to be sitting around chopping up video of Shedeur Sanders plays and pointing them out to y'all. Y'all can go look at them for yourself, because I'm not doing that. Because y'all come to here, y'all don't even hit the like button on me. Y'all don't, you know what I'm saying? You don't get in the comments, don't say nothing. It just seems like that. So I'm not going to sit here and chop up Shedeur Sanders' film and point that out, because he's telling us that he's not oblivious to the things he needs to learn. Then what Dillon Gabriel ran, to be honest, he had more control of the playbook. Why? How do we know that? Because there was a lot more motion in his plays. There was a lot going on. Just you got to watch the film, and you got to learn how to watch the film. Now, I've been taking my time out here for 2 years, really trying to learn these things, because I understand that I'm a truck driver. I understand that I'm not a professional sports analyst. So I have to be respected in this. I have to look at things, and I have to learn certain things, and I have no problem with learning, and I have no problem with saying I don't know these things, but looking at it, yes, the playbook is opened up to Dillon Gabriel. And Shedeur Sanders has a lot to learn with it, but he knows that, and he's telling you that. But moving on, we'll go back, and I really like what Shedeur Sanders said here. I really, really like what Shedeur Sanders said here in this video, and I wanted to bring some light to this, because I think it's dope anytime that they giving back. You know what I mean?
I'm very excited. I want to do, and I didn't even say this, but I wanted to find a way to get a lot of the high schools free tickets, a lot of the kids, middle schools, everybody free tickets to come to the game. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I don't know anything. I didn't talk to anybody about this. But I just always had this thought. I'm like, dang, that'd be cool to do. But I didn't talk to anybody about that yet. So I hope I don't.
That's dope.
But I think it's going to be fun.
Now I get it. A lot of players do this, right? A lot of players do this. But I think people who got the bread to do that, now they danged if they do and they danged if they don't, right? Because when they do put stuff out there and show that they're going to homeless kitchens and feeding the homeless and stuff like that, people say, oh, well, you're clout chasing. You're doing this for the clicks and likes. But I think showing that shows a side of you. And I think you should do that regardless, in my eyes, because I don't look at it like, oh, you're clout chasing. I look at it as you bringing light and showing people that, look, it don't take much to give back to your community. And I think that's super dope what Shedeur Sanders do now. Wherever he's at on the football field, that's different. But for what he's written, like I told y'all this before, what he's done for the Cleveland area and those kids living in those poverty-driven areas is huge. They love Shedeur Sanders. He went there, actually, talked to them, brought snow cones, everything, and he's still trying to give back and trying to get the high schools and middle schools tickets to go to games. They'll probably never be able to afford to go to a game. I lived in Pittsburgh, PA, up until I was 14 years old, and I moved down to Atlanta, Georgia. I'd never been in the Pittsburgh Steelers Stadium. I'm a Pittsburgh hard fan. I ain't never been till I was an adult. My wife took me for the first time to a game because you just can't afford it. Those are things you can't afford. You watch them on TV. You can't afford to go to the game because your mom's working 2 jobs, so forth and so on. And I just think it's dope. And I wanted to bring that to the light, despite with anything else that I'm going to talk about. Because, look, when you're doing good, when you're doing things like this, I'm going to highlight that. But I'm also going to keep it real because that's what I'm out here to do. All right? Now that's just what it is. Now, moving on. Chris Carter had made these comments. He took a lot of flack for this before. But I'm going to play this just in case y'all forgot because Chris Carter took a lot of flack for this. But go ahead. I'm going to play the slot.
Well, a number of things happened. The number one thing that didn't happen was there was not a collusion message with the NFL owners.
Okay. What? Okay. A lot of people think that.
Because they wouldn't be able to keep a secret like that. And
so they might do it, but they couldn't shut up about it.
They wouldn't be able to shut up about it. But every owner is very, very selfish. Now, why would I do something to my detriment? Like if I need a quarterback and I think this kid is it, what he didn't realize is the guys that have fallen in the draft before, they all had unusual traits. Like they had some superstar qualities to them. Now, some other things happened that made them fall, but Shedeur and his family, they overplayed their hand.
Because we like so crazy.
That's just it. That's just it. I mean, look, he came out and he so let's get this straight. And that's just what Chris Carter said. I want to play y'all these slots. I kind of do want to talk about each little video, but so you mean to tell me that no, well, I'll play it after I get done with this. I'll go play it because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to say that, but I agree with Chris Carter. I think they overplayed their hand, but we'll get into that.
Because we like truth and we like to get to the bottom of things. Shedeur Sanders' future in Cleveland. How does that look to y'all? What does everybody think is going to happen to Shedeur Sanders? Is he going to end up being a starting quarterback? Are they going to give him a fair chance, or are they going to continue to play around him, Now, everybody understands, and it's no secret, the Browns named Joe Flacco the starting quarterback. And what is so crazy about that to me is head coach Kevin Stefanski said Kenny Pickett had a legit chance to start. He named Joe Flacco the quarterback. And during that press conference, he said Kenny Pickett had a legit chance to start. And I was so confused about that comment. Because where does that fit into this whole equation? What did Kenny Pickett show that he's able to be a starter for the Cleveland Browns?
So I'm gonna get up into that, and before I play this Eric Dickerson comments that a lot of people have been waiting to hear Eric Dickerson come out, and then I'll speak on that. But what Kenny Pickett has showed is that now, regardless if we liked him in Pittsburgh or not, I think we didn't like Kenny Pickett because he was just he was noodle arming things. We got so spoiled with Ben Roethlisberger, we were not willing to give a quarterback time. I'm just being honest. I'm gonna be honest with it. We got so spoiled with having a quarterback like Ben Roethlisberger, so tough. Ben Roethlisberger had gotten a motorcycle accident, I believe, and could have died in it, had bone reconstruction surgery, all kinds of things, still came back and played that following season. Lost a lot of his mobility after that accident, but that's how tough Ben Roethlisberger was, despite of all the off the field stuff that he went through. But we were spoiled with that as Pittsburgh Steelers fans. So when Kenny Pickett came in, he was supposed to be the second coming and everything else. We were not willing to give Kenny Pickett time at all, right? We just weren't. And I'm just being honest with you. We just wasn't. But when you look at the stats of Kenny Pickett and what Kenny Pickett has done in this league, he's really not that bad. He's been in this league. He's proved himself in this league. He just came from a Super Bowl team. He was the backup for arguably, people disrespect Jalen Hurts and what Jalen Hurts is capable of, but he was the backup out there in Philly. He backed up a quarterback who won a Super Bowl. That has to stop. And I'm supposed to be the person that's not supposed to know some of these things, right? I'm a fan of the game of football. I'm a truck driver by trade. That's what I do during the day. At night, I talk sports on the mic. But you got people like Asante Samuel out there saying, what has Kenny Pickett done? And then you got the casual fans feeding into that crap like that. But people want us to hold us accountable and say, we're just nobody. But listen, but that's somebody. Arguably one of the best cornerbacks in the league that we've possibly seen, right? Over 50 interceptions. And he's sitting here saying, what has Kenny Pickett done? So let's see what Kenny Pickett has done in the league. Let's not talk about what Kenny Pickett's done in the league. Let's look at Kenny Pickett's actual stats. Okay. Let me get that pulled. Give me a second here, y'all, to get the Kenny Pickett stats pulled up before we go to get into these Eric Dickerson comments, right? So let's go ahead and let's get those pulled up. Okay, so we'll look at Kenny Pickett's career. So I'm typing Kenny Pickett's name in now on my keyboard. That's what I'm doing now. And that's okay. So Kenny Pickett. So we're going to look at the stats. Okay. We'll look at his stats and we'll go back and look at his stats. And we're not talking from last year. We'll talk all of his stats. This is what he done in the NFL. I also want y'all to pay attention to his winning percentage, not just some things. We got to look at all of the things. How many wins Kenny Pickett has, everything he got. You know what I'm saying? So let's look at that. I appreciate you, DC Carson. I appreciate you. All right. So we'll look at that. All right, let me get that pulled up real quick, y'all. Give me a second. I had a I don't know why it's not letting. Okay, because I gotta stop. No, I don't want to. Okay, yeah, I gotta stop that. We'll go back. We'll get back to the I'll get back to the Eric Dickerson comments. I'll play the audio, and then I'll give my commentary on the Eric Dickerson comments after that, right? After this. So I want to get this Kenny Pickett pulled up, right? Kenny Pickett, y'all know 6'3". That's what he's listed as. I think he's true 6'2", 220 pounds, whatever. So now we're going to go into his stats and his value. Let's go to his stats, okay? In Pittsburgh. All right. So this is his career stats in Pittsburgh. I got to make that a little bit smaller for me. I think that's perfect for y'all, but it's too big for me, right? All right. So in his first season with Pittsburgh, he played 13 games. He had 245 completions out of 389 attempts. He has a 63% completion percentage. He threw for 2,404 yards, averaged 6.2 yards per catch, had 7 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, had a long of 57. He was sacked 27 times, had a rating of 76.7, had a QBR 53.6. But I think a lot of that had to do with the sacks. Now, not going to sit there and put all that on Kenny Pickett. We had some problems there, but it is what it is, right? That's when you're looking at that. So let's click on that. Now I want to see how many wins he had that season and how do we look that season. I got to get it pulled up here. So work with me, y'all. Just stay with me now, because we ain't going nowhere. I want to get it pulled up, so maybe I got to click on it. Let's click on the 2022 season, see if that works. All right. Okay, so he comes out Jacksonville. That's preseason. So we want to go to why is it not showing up like I want it to? We got to show up. So maybe I got to go into the reference to look at his win percentage and everything, because we weren't bad in those years. We weren't horrible. That's, y'all know this. Just the Steelers. You could blame it on the offense. You could blame it on the defense. So let's look at Kenny Pickett's 2023 stats, right? He played 12 of those games. 12. He had 201 completions, 324 attempts, had completed 62% of his passes, threw for 2,070 yards. He averaged 6.4 yards per throw. He had 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Now, he was a rookie in 2022. This is only his second year in the NFL at this point in time. He got sacked 23 times, had a rating at 81.4, had a QBR 39.8. Now, the picks, touchdown ratio has a lot to do with your QBR, whatever. He's proven in this league. He's been proven in this league. That's really what it boils down to with Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett has proven in this league what he actually can do, right? QB2 in Philly, right? So when you look at his career stats, he had 15 wins, 10 losses, still winning, 16 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 4,800 yards. Mind you, he only played 3 years, 4,800 yards in 3 years, 16 touchdowns, 14 interceptions in 3 years. In 3 years, 15 wins and 10 losses. Right. And technically, he has a Super Bowl ring. Technically, right? He's proven. So this is what he's done in the league, regardless of what Asante Samuel wants to say, Shannon Sharp wants to say, or what anybody out there got to say about Kenny Pickett. He's a proven commodity in this league. So when we go to saying, and when you got fans out there saying, oh, we got to carry 4 quarterbacks, or if they don't, the odd man out is Kenny Pickett. How and why? How? Well, even if Joe Flacco goes down, you want to throw a rookie in there. Well, they're not going to win anyway. Oh, well. That's not what Stefanski is worried about. That's not what Andrew Berry is worried about. It's all about dubs. Do you think Myles Garrett? Do you think Jerry Jeudy? Do you think? Hold up. What's y'all cornerback? Don't get me twisted. I'm going blank right now. But do you think those veterans on that team want you to throw a rookie out there and not give them a chance to win? And granted, the Browns' defensive line looks promising, even y'all depth. So you want to just go out there and just say, let's just throw a rookie out there in the fire. And technically, y'all, I'm telling y'all, I did not break down the film because, like I said, it takes a lot of time to do that. It took a lot of time to prepare for the show, period. But I wasn't going to go through all that because, like I said, people don't always like, and they always don't share. There's a lot of things to go through. But there was 9 plays that Shedeur ran repetitively through the whole preseason game. I think it might have been 10. You know, I heard it was 10, but I seen 9, and I maybe I missed the one. And then you got another rookie in Dylan Gabriel that actually runs the playbook, motions, the slime protection, motion in the offense. It's opened up to him. So he's actually running a more complicated. He's running the same schemes particular, but it's more complicated because there's the dress on the motions, the check and see what, are they in zone, or are they in man? Or if you are seeing zone, what guy got to hit now? Oh, he should be here. He shouldn't be there. Like it's totally different. But listen, that's why I played before. Shedeur Sanders told us he's not oblivious to the things he needs to learn, but he's looking at it like it's just time to prepare the food. He's marinating it right now, but when he gets out there, he's going to cook, but he's not oblivious to everything he needs to learn. But for some reason we are. Anyway, and I think I'm going to be done with this up until the season really starts. Kenny Pickett is not that bad. I think I you know what I mean? It's in Pittsburgh. We're impatient. We were very impatient with him. We didn't really like the crybabiness. We got spoiled with a very tough quarterback and a follow behind Ben. You had to be something similar. But even to say that he hasn't proved himself in this league is crazy. He got some experience. They want to win. They just don't want to go out there and lose, right? They just don't want to go out there and lose to get another good first round pick. That's not what they're doing. especially with those veterans. Like, y'all almost lost Myles Garrett because of losing in the way that they were looking. You think that's what he want to do? He said that's DC Carson said that's not bad. Certainly not bad enough to folks to call him trash. Yeah, I don't. He's Kenny Pickett's not trash. Kenny Pickett was just something that he did not fit Pittsburgh. He just wasn't our guy. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I think he may fit in that Kevin Stefanski system well. I think he may fit in that system very well. I think that system is it may work out very good for Pickett. But then you got to be singing a whole different tune. He understands the NFL defenses. He's seen more on the field. Like, got to keep him around. This don't make sense for him to be the odd man out and to keep and 2 rookies. So when that time comes, it'll come. But whatever. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just study these things. I don't take time out of my day to sit down, research, and look into these things and even try to bring receipts. So what I'll do now is I'll go up into the video of I'll remove that and I'll go up into back to the video with Eric Dickerson. I'm sorry, excuse me, with Eric Dickerson. I'll go back up into those, finish that out for y'all. So we'll finish that out and then we'll add the comments on that. So we'll move on to the Eric Dickerson comments. I'm about to play those for y'all right now. All right, get that played. Now, this is what Eric Dickerson had to say. I'm sure a lot of y'all heard this, but there's 2 parts, and then I'll give my commentary afterwards.
That the NFL told other, don't draft him. Do not draft him. We're gonna make an example out of him. And this came from a very good source, And he said that, I won't say who, somebody called the Cleveland Browns and said, don't do that. Draft
Really?
him. Yep. Draft him. Don't do that. Because they weren't going to draft him either. They weren't going to draft him. They were forced into drafting him because somebody made a call to them, said, you know, and I say, when I say this is a NFL side source for sure, you know, so this somebody called the Cleveland Browns and said, don't do that. Draft
Really?
him. Yep. Draft him. Don't do that. Because they weren't going to draft him either. They weren't going to draft him. They were forced into drafting him because somebody made a call to them, said, you know, and I say, when I say this is a NFL side source for sure, you know, so this is not here. So look, one thing about it is, and I'll just say it, you know, they don't like when guys have brands, especially black players, you know, and that's mostly us with the brand, you know, we kind of, some guys are flashy and all that kind of stuff. They don't like that. This kid, Fred, I don't think you knew this. He had already made $17 million from a card deal that he already signed. A card deal. He had $17 million already for that. Then he had another 14, I think, from a was it a shoe, Nike or some shoe deal. So he was good with money wise, but I know he wants to play in the National Football League for sure.
So how does he do that? I mean, Cleveland picked him. I find it fascinating, Eric. You're saying somebody even called the Browns and said, don't do that.
Yeah, somebody called the Browns and said.
So what was the objective? He doesn't get picked. He's an undrafted free agent.
That's exactly what's going to happen. They were going to have him, he was not going to get drafted to basically show you this is what happens when you do this. I mean, look, you know, Fred, the NFL got all kind of power. They do all kind of stuff. You know, you know that, and I know it too.
So this is what we're going to show you when you do this, right? He wouldn't give up the source. But if I recall, there was a source that came out, a Giants insider. He got on Twitter and let the whole world see it. It wound up going viral, but it went over a lot of people's heads and whatever about Shedeur Sanders video with the Giants and what's behind that. The Browns and the Sanders family supposedly had said, you know, allegedly said that they would sue if they release the film of him on a whiteboard, whatever. That's past. That's in the past. We ain't gonna get all up into all that stuff. But this is what he said. This is what Eric Dickerson, an NFL legend, has come out and said and poisoned people's ears with, right? So now the NFL colluded against Shedeur Sanders, right? Now let's point out some things, right? Because I look, I want him to win, but I'm out here to try to educate some people upon some things, right? That's just what it is. Like I don't claim to know everything. I'm not a know-it-all. You know what I mean? Or whatever. And I don't want to be that. But I must say to y'all, like, we can't feed into stuff like this because he played in the NFL or they played in the NFL. They say crazy things, bro. Crazy things. Anyway, we all do. They're people at the end of the day. So they colluded against a guy who allegedly didn't do that well on the whiteboard with the Giants. We don't know that. We'll never know. That allegedly we know it wasn't allegedly. We know he did not participate in the Senior Bowl game at all. Right? That didn't happen. He did not throw at the combine. He did not run at the combine. He did not participate in the combine. He did his pro day, but the combine helps. It shows that you're willing to work for other. How bad did you really want to go to the NFL? Now, his name alone was going to get him the buzz, but not participating. After the fact, your father had came out and said that the Cleveland Browns and some other organizations, he's not going to certain organizations. By the way, that's the receipt I should have pulled up with him saying that, but we all know that what Coach Prime had said and came out and said. Now, granted, is there any that I think there was any super thing wrong with that, but it was the timing of it. And then after those comments was said, now you acting like you don't want to participate in the combine. After that. And they colluded because he's black and he got a shoe deal and he got NIL deals. That's crazy. Makes no sense, y'all. Come on now. Like, I mean, we cannot. What up, y'all? We cannot. There's no way we cannot feed into that rhetoric. That's just crazy. There's absolutely no reason why you should feed into that. That's absolutely not the truth. That is not the truth at all. No way, shape, or form is that the truth. And that's exactly why. And everything, he's getting his shots. He was drafted in the 5th round. And I believe, honestly, if he didn't get picked in the 5th round, because think about it, right? The draft is, to me, it's like playing chess with the organizations too. So I think certain people would draft people to keep people from other teams, right? Pittsburgh needed a quarterback. We were interested in Shedeur Sanders. He did take a visit there. Him and Mike Tomlin hit it off, right? So with the Browns' last pick in the draft, after they already took a quarterback a round before they take Shedeur Sanders, right after that 5th round pick, we go ahead and we draft Will Howard, and to be honest, Browns were looking at Dylan Gabriel and Will Howard. Those were the two guys that the Browns were keeping their eye on. Stefanski liked Gabriel a little bit better than Howard, but he was looking at that. But if I want to play with the Steelers, and we knew Aaron Rodgers was coming. There. But I think the plan was, and it folded up a little bit, but I think we would have took Shedeur Sanders with that pick and sat him behind Aaron Rodgers. Right? And I think that, but the Browns they just said, we're taking him. And y'all seen the faces of the guys. They're like, what's going on? Why are we doing this? But that's just me. And I'm being honest right now. I'm speculating on that particular thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know for a fact that we would have took him, but my guess is I think we would have took him. Yes, I do think so. We didn't take him early. We needed to fill other positions. There was other positions that was more in importance, and we knew we had a bridge quarterback like Aaron Rodgers coming, right? So to draft a quarterback in the 1st round and to miss out on a defensive lineman which we need to help stop the run was more important than a quarterback position, especially when you got a guy like Aaron Rodgers coming in. So then We knew Najee Harris's contract was coming up. We probably weren't going to keep him because of Jalen Warren. So then we go running back with the 3rd round. We traded our 2nd round away to the Seattle Seahawks for DK Metcalf, and then we picked up his contract. So we had that covered. Then we had the running back covered with Caleb Johnson. Then in the 4th round, we went ahead again, and we said, okay, now we got another steal with Jack Sawyer. We need to shore up this defensive line to help with the defensive line, the running, right? Then in the 5th round, I think that's when we go again. If I'm not mistaken, it was Wyatt Black. Boom. That was Wyatt Black. We like, okay, we'll take Wyatt Black. But I think that would have been Shedeur. I honestly think that would have been Shedeur. Will Howard would have been Shedeur. We got Will Howard. I think we stumbled upon a good quarterback. I really do. Either one of them would have been good, but I think the Browns were trying to play keep away. That's just me and what I think. You know what I mean? Because we all know that he was there. What up, Cliff? What's going on with you, man? What's going on, Kate? What's up, KMS? What's up, Cliff? So that's just me and what I thought about what was going on with that whole thing and how I felt. And we broke down the film. We went through the receipts of everything. We heard what Eric Dickerson had to say. I think I answered that pretty smooth, because I don't think you could collude too much when you had to help everything else. You heard what Chris Carter had to say about it, right? Can't collude against somebody who just played their cards totally wrong throughout the whole draft process, and they learned a lot. I'm pretty sure that when this comes up again, and if you got this coming up again, that Coach Prime would never play his cards like that. He would have played it a little bit different. Now, you can say what you want to say, but not participating in everything else on top of everything he said, that just hurt him, right? It is what it is. And then I think I answered Asante Samuel talking about Kenny Pickett. And a lot of Browns fans don't understand why neither. Like, he just wasn't our guy. This wasn't it. And now, but believe it or not, so what would you rather do? Would you rather go with a quarterback? Technically, for argument's sake, he's a Super Bowl quarterback that has 16 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, thrown for over 4,800 yards, 15 wins, 10 losses on his record. Or you want to go with a rookie who you don't know what you're going to get out of. I'm just saying. I think that's pretty much what goes on there. So I think I answered a lot of that, but I got some game picks that I'm about to get up into. I got some game picks. I think I got a lot of that out the way with Shedeur and all that. A lot of people didn't come in. The link is above if you wanted to hit the link and you wanted to rap before I get in these game picks. If not, then I'm gonna go hit these game picks and I'm gonna pretty much get on up out of here, man. You know, I think I had a decent show, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to get these game picks in. You did? Let me get that pulled up the right way, man, because sometimes it messes up, dude. All right, is that it? No, here we go. All right. So that's the screen I want right there with the game picks. Got to get everything right and everything set up perfectly. The game picks. So obviously y'all seen that on the screen earlier. I got 5 college picks and I got 5 NFL picks that I'll go through, right? That ain't too long, ain't too much. So obviously these are tomorrow's games for college football. We got Stanford at Hawaii. I think this is a clear-cut, easy game right here. I think Stanford should win this game. I also think they should cover. But for sure, I know Stanford's going to win this game. So I'm going to go with Stanford here, even though they're playing in Hawaii. Hawaii should have picked up their team, but their air raid. Stanford is Stanford. They're in the ACC now. I think it's a good game to see where they're at, but I don't think Stanford is too bad. But I'm going with Stanford in that game, right? Then we got Fresno at Kansas. I think it's going to be a good opener for Kansas to really see what they got going on. I got faith in Kansas. I want to see what Jalen David's going to do this year. He got to step it up. Man. He hurt me last year. Kansas let us down last year, a lot of us. But look, I think they're going to bounce back. I think they got their QB coming back. I think they got a lot of things coming back. They missing Devin Neal, A lot of guys did step up out of there, but I think Leopold, they got a good culture there under him, and they're at home. So I'm going with Kansas in this game, going with the Jayhawks. All right. Next one. I think this game was real hard for me to pick. If I'm not mistaken, the last time I did look on FanDuel, this was 3.5 points, field goal, real close game. And in this game, look, Rocco Beck is a beast. I really do like Rocco Beck in this game. I think he will be missing his receivers, running back. They are bringing that defense is going to be there. But however, I think Kansas defense is going to be there. I believe in Avery Johnson and Dylan Edwards so much this year. I think they're going to take off, man. And Kansas State is at home. I could be wrong with this pick, but I think I'm going to roll with Kansas State on this one, man. I think this is a real close game for me because I do like both of these teams in the Big 12, but I'm definitely rocking with Kansas State. Dylan Edwards, I think it's his time to shine, blow up. He reminds me of Percy Harvin, so I'm going to roll with that. Now, in this game right here, it's a rival game. This first game. So, look, NC State might be a little bit rusty coming out. These first games can go any way. This is where you see week one upsets. Y'all know how it goes in college football. But NC State, I really like the Wolfpack. This is going to be a battle. The Pirates, East Carolina Pirates, they run an air raid, and they're gonna get it on. They are going to battle. I think it should be a good game. But NC State, I think, is an easy pick for this one. I'm rolling with them in that rivalry game. Look, then you got Georgia Tech at Colorado. I think that's going to be. I can't remember if that's a tomorrow later game or the next day. Anyway, this is the first game opening up. This is another 3-point game. Obviously, Vegas think that Colorado's team has gotten a lot better. I think they got a lot better up front too. I think the trenches has gotten a lot better. The defense did step up last year with Colorado. I just think that Georgia Tech is solidified. I think if we see any glimpse of that Georgia Tech that came out against Georgia that should have beat Georgia last year. Now, granted, we could say that they didn't beat them or whatever, but they played Georgia to the wire. I think it was 6-7 overtime game. Man, it's going to go crazy. This game is going to go off the chain crazy up there in Colorado to open up. And I think this is a good game for Colorado to see where Colorado's at for the rest of the year, depending on how they play Georgia Tech and how physical this Colorado Buffaloes team is actually going to be to see if they stepped up in that area. Because I tell you what, if they only lose by 3 to Georgia Tech, or if they beat them by 3, Colorado might be a favorite to win the Big 12. If I see 6 wins up out of this team, though, I'm proud of Coach Prime and what they've done if they make a bowl game. Because look, you lose a Heisman guy like Travis Hunter. You lose a Heisman runner-up, you lose a quarterback like that, like Shedeur Sanders, as he was in college. That's huge. So look, and then you got Caden Salter coming from Liberty. He got to prove himself because the tough loss that he took to Kennesaws, we got his stock down right now. Liberty losing to Kennesaw should have never happened, especially with Caden Salter at quarterback and Cooley at running back, and I can't remember the receiver's name, but look, they should have ran the G5 up and down, hands down. Nobody should have been messing with Liberty. And but we're gonna see what's up with this Colorado team. Now the offensive line they get better, but the only thing with this Colorado team to me, and I should say this, is I think they're gonna get a late start. Now, granted, they got some week 4. They should come out of that. You would want them to come out 2-2, but I think I got them what? I think I got them in 2-2 also in the first 4 games. And that's when that offensive line should get their chemistry together. They got 4 new guys. The only guy that's not new on that line is Jordan Seaton. And to me, that matters. Now, to other people, it don't matter, but we'll see what happens with that. But I got Georgia Tech, man. I'm going to be long-winded in that. Got Georgia Tech in this game, even though Colorado's at home. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see where Colorado's at. I think it's a good game to really base and see where these Colorado Buffaloes are at this year. You know what I mean? NFL game starting off, we got Cowboys at the Eagles. The Cowboys at the Eagles starting off with those guys. Look, Dallas getting I'm wanting to look at regular season Dallas Cowboy game, this is a good game to open up for these two teams in week 1. Phillies are Super Bowl winners, but adding George Pickens to that offense for the Cowboys just made the Cowboys defense, the offense, a high strung. Still think that defense needs some work. So we'll see what happens. Philly's defense is crazy as long as they can run the ball. We'll see what happens. But I think Philly gets this win, and I don't think that it looks as bad. I don't think it looks bad though. I think this is going to be a very competitive game. It should be anyway, NFL status. But I got Philly winning this opener. They're at home. Rival game against Dallas. Think that matters. Good game. See what George Pickens does to that offense. That offense should pick up a lot. You know what I mean? Taking George Pickens in that game, I think should be good because CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens is going to have a hell of a game. Dak Prescott. Next, I got the Kansas City Chiefs going to play the Chargers in their home opener. I think I have a tremendous amount of respect for the AFC West this year. Let me start off in saying that because of the coaches that's over there. You know what I mean? The coaching that's over there in the AFC West to me, and I'll keep saying it, is the best in the NFL to me. I really like those coaches that's over there. The teams they putting together, hardball. They're at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to have to come out swinging. I can't remember if what the spread was on this game, because look, if you're gonna give me the Chargers and +6, I think I want to roll with the Chargers because I think this is a close game. But until anybody, including my Steelers, until anybody beats them, I gotta roll with the Chiefs, and I cannot bet against Mahomes. I just can't. I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't bet against Mahomes. I bet you I had that thinking I was about to go somewhere else with that, but no, I can't bet against Mahomes. This is crazy. Now, normally I'm biased with my Steeler picks, but and I do probably want to lean towards them to win, but y'all not going to see me pick them every game this year. It's just not going to happen. Like I'm not going, because I try to be realistic with this, right? And I am biased that is my team. However, it's the New York Jets. I think starting off this game, Aaron Rodgers leaving the Jets, them getting rid of Aaron Rodgers like the way they did or whatever, not believing in them. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to go out there with a chip on his shoulder. Think he might be the wrong guy to do that, even though I said things by the way. I want to apologize to Aaron Rodgers talking about your ayahuascas and everything. I just got mad at Aaron Rodgers because, like, you just doing ayahuasca on the football field and you ain't trying to share it with me. That's crazy, bro. Like, I ain't like that. Anyway, like, Aaron Rodgers, bro, like, he going back to the Jets. It's going to be on. Don't forget Justin Fields. Energy going to be high, playing the bird. He going to be wanting to play his best game, get busy, do what he do. But that defense is crazy. It's always gave him problems at practice. And we'll see what happens. But that's just practice. It's the game. But going with my Steelers, man, it's the Jets, y'all. It's the Jets. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of y'all out there going with the bird, too. It's not just me. It'd be crazy to take the Jets over the Steelers, whether they're at home or not. New head coach, Justin Fields at quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And they got one receiver, Garrett Wilson. Who else? You know what I mean? They got a decent run game. They do got a decent run game. Plus, we beat them last year with Aaron Rodgers. So think about that. Anyway, Miami Dolphins taking on the Colts. I think, look, this game right here, the reason why I got this game, because I think it's going to be a close one. You got Daniel Jones playing at quarterback. I think he's going to be playing quarterback. I'm not sure if I don't think Anthony Richardson. You got to go with Daniel Jones only simply because of his consistencies over Anthony Richardson. He got a nice deep ball. He's athletic. He's more athletic. I think he still needs a little bit more time to sit and watch. But look, either way it go, they got two quarterbacks who have not proven themselves yet. I was big on Daniel Jones last year. People were sleeping on him. They just think he's hot garbage. I think Daniel Jones just got a little bit things he need to work on. But look, We'll see where this team is at. Colts are very talented offensively, and getting Tyler Warren from Penn State was huge for them. And we're gonna see what Miami Dolphins is doing. But look, y'all, I know Daniel Jones at quarterback, and I know the Miami Dolphins. You got Dolphins fans everywhere that's gonna be mad at me. I gotta go with the Colts in this one, and I do. I gotta go with the Colts. My fault. I ain't mean to pick them. Gotta go with the Colts. I'm going with the Colts. Yes, I am. I am going with the Colts. They're just too talented offensively. Not to go with them. Now, granted, you got Waddell and Tyreek Hill and that A-Chain, but Tua and them guys, they just ain't been looking too hot. That offense, you know what I mean? It just couldn't click. Even with getting Jonnu Smith down there with those guys. You had Jonnu Smith, Jalen Waddell, Tyreek Hill, and they still couldn't win. I mean, granted, Tua was hurt, but he's always injury prone. The defense, one of the best linebackers in the league, plays for the Indianapolis Colts. He's just crazy back there. You can't really do too much with Leonard. That way he leads that defense. They're too talented offensively. Daniel Jones is just going to have to do the bare minimum, put the ball in his playmaker's hands, and the Colts, that should be a good win for the Colts, period. That's just what I see with it. Now, I could be wrong, but that's the way I see it, all right? Now with the big cats is going at it. Two young quarterbacks are going at it. Bryce Young, is he going to bounce back? It's the T-Max debut and Travis Hunter's debut. Now, if you want me to choose between the quarterbacks, I think the home field advantage for the Jaguars definitely comes down to that. Defensively, I think the Jaguars are a little bit underrated. I think the Panthers are another sleeper team in that NFC South. And I also think the Jags in the AFC South might be a problem. Trevor Lawrence, I think he got to bounce back this year. It's make or break for him. It's make or break for Trevor Lawrence, or somebody going to be talking about renegotiating, or going to be trying to find a new home, or just sitting on a roster letting another quarterback take his spot. I think having Travis Hunter there is going to make a huge difference for that offense. The Jaguars, I'm going with the Jags. Just cause a lot of it got to do with Trav, and I'm being honest, Travis. A lot of it got to do with Travis Hunter. I'm not gonna lie. But I do like the Panthers. I definitely like the Panthers. I just think that they're not at their full power just yet. I think Jimmy needs maybe 2 years, maybe this whole year, and then next year when they can put all of those guys, because they got a good receiving room. They got Coker. Oh, they got some mad receivers over there. They got a good receiver room with the Panthers. And Bryce Young got weapons. That's what he was like, and he got weapons. I'm just not too sure about that run game with the Panthers. I think that's where the Jags got them at, slightly with the run game and with the defense, and that's why I'm going with the Jags. So those was my picks, though. You know what I mean? So we go back over them real quick, you know what I'm saying, if you would like to or whatever. But that's just what it is with me. So got the NFL picks. That's done 5-5, because I'm not about to go through a whole 40 picks out there. That's just not what I'm doing right now. I'm not going through 40 picks. You said what? You said we can't keep hanging our hat on that Georgia game. What you mean by that, KMS? What do you mean by that? What do you mean we can't keep hanging our hat on our Georgia game? What do you mean by that? Can you explain for me? You said Salter is way more effective than Shedeur. Like I see what you mean. Like he could be more effective. You ain't saying he's better than Shedeur. He can be more effective. I get that with the run game, and you know what I'm saying, him being able to use his legs to get out of some trouble, pick up some crucial first downs or whatever. But you also got to remember though that Georgia Tech's defense ain't nothing to slack with. They're not nothing to slack on. And it's just that those guys have been established. Like, and this might be that game. I'm not, at first I was like, Colorado's going to get blown out. That was my first take with that. Let me explain. But now I'm like, I just see this game as Colorado and where they going to line up, where they going to match at for the rest of the season with Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is, they are in that top tier of the ACC. Like they're right. You know what I'm saying? They're a top tier ACC team. They're not one of the butt ones. They all been together. And the fact that the chemistry, Colorado and Georgia Tech's chemistry, I think that's night and day to me. And from what we have learned in college football, looking at these teams, is that plug and play works. You can get a lot of guys out of the portal, but when you get in a whole offensive line out of the portal versus a whole offensive line who's already been together, or versus a whole defensive line that's already been together for the previous year, I'm probably going to go with the defensive line that been playing together for at least 3 years over the whole new offensive line that came out of the portal that just had a couple of months to try to build chemistry together, right? Never really played an end game atmosphere. I would feel a whole lot better with Colorado had Coach Prime been able to do a joint practice with Syracuse to get some kind of gang callus going on within that team and that chemistry. I would feel a lot better with that, to be honest. I really would. But to be in an end game atmosphere against Georgia Tech, an established team who has a lot of returning players, and gotta go with them. I gotta go with them, man. And they played, but granted, they played Georgia all the time. They played Georgia good all the time, but it's just not that Georgia game, too. They played everybody tough. You know what I mean? They played everybody tough with the simple scheme that they run. And you know how Georgia Tech's bringing it. They want to run the ball down the throat. They want to establish the line of scrimmage. They want to run, use motion, jet sweeps, outside zone, inside zone runs. They're not doing anything special, but they just want to physically push you around on the offensive line, use play action pass when they can, and you still have a tough time beating them. They're not doing, you know what I'm saying? You still have a tough time beating them. That team is very good. And granted, I'm giving them this game because of how many players are new offensively and defensively on Colorado. I think it's going to take them time to build that chemistry. But I said that, and I don't want to keep repeating myself. It's just going to take time for me, you know what I mean, for them to build the chemistry up. That's all. But hey, what could I say? I mean, that ain't too much. I mean, that's right now. I just repeat myself. But hey, that's just what it is. Can't get mad at the pick. You get mad at the pick. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm sure there's a lot of Colorado fans that's like, all right, we got a chance to beat Georgia Tech, but y'all got the guys, the size up front to do it. But when this is a team sport. This is not individual. And I think people get so caught up on individuals and their stats and everything else. Like, but we got, you know what I mean? You might be a CU fan that might come out of nowhere like, yeah, but we got a new tackle who's 6'5" and 336 pounds, and he can move around like this. Or we got the guard that's 303 pounds and 6'4", blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Like, Georgia Tech got that too. But the thing is, their 300-pound guys played together for 3 years. So they know, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's certain things that matter on the football field to me. I don't know. But that's that, because that was part of my strategy. I wasn't the tallest guy on the field, nor was I the biggest guy. So I picked up on certain things, and and when I played the game, I looked at it like, I looked at little things like that. You know, the little bit of chemistry, or the fact that the guard and the tackle, the way that they set up, and, you know, which one of those guys were weak, and, you know, that matters, because now I can, you know, fake like I'm about to go inside. You want to cover for your guard because your guard's getting beat all the time. And now look, I heard spin move to the outside on you. Now I'm beating you. Just, I don't know, just little things like that gave me the edge. That's just me and how I felt about it. I'm just explaining what I'm saying. That's not for everybody out there. You know, but little things like that matter. I thought so, but could be wrong. Because they could pick up later on in the year and go on a run. Like I said, once they get that chemistry down, it could be a good team. And Caden Salter is a good quarterback. But like I said, he got to prove it. Now, Caden Salter got to prove he's ready to go out there and win. He got to do it because losing, there's no reason why they should have lost to Kennesaw last year. No reason why. And he struggled. He struggled in the Conference USA last year. He did. He struggled. And if you can get G5 teams, now granted, the Big 12 is a G5, not far from off a G5 conference itself, but they're a little bit more established than those guys. And, you know, if you're going to let the G5 programs do you like that, well, Liberty should have just been a runaway team with that. Come on. Like, there's no, like, come on. Ain't you a veteran guy? No. Never should have happened. Never. Not in a million years. That loss should have never happened. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But from what I've been looking at, I wouldn't bet on it. That's all I'm saying. Definitely wouldn't bet on it. But y'all, look, man, I appreciate it. I put the link up there. Nobody really decided. Hey, look, I'm glad y'all let me rock out with it. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love, man. Make sure that y'all hit this like button, man. Share the content also. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what platform you on. Look, I just gave y'all an hour and a half of topics. I took my time, put this together. Come on, support. Straight up. Share the link. You know what I'm saying? Share that junk. Put it on your social medias. You know what I mean? Somebody, you know what I mean? People out there gonna rock. I'm gonna do my part. Y'all do y'all part. But y'all know how I always ended. I always say, pray for each other, pray for me, pray for y'all. I know how we give it up out here, man. Peace.